So we routed the wiring for the backup camera into this area right here, and then we need to remove the trim all around in the tailgate here, and then we can run the wire through the grommet to the inside of the car and then down to the light. Now what we're going to do is take off this back panel, and I think I need to take off the handle, and then there's two plastic clips, and then all around the rest of it are a bunch of pressure clips. Got some plastic Phillips head screws here. Seems to be stripped or something. So this piece looks like it's already stripped, made out of plastic of some sort, and it's a Phillips head. So we're gonna have to pry this out. It looks like it's some sort of plastic clip that I'm gonna have to pry out. Get you one of these from Harbor Freight. They're cheap, but you could use it for lots of things like this. I have no idea why that wouldn't unscrew, but of course it does after you pull it out, and it looks something like this. There you go. So there's a gazillion clips on this thing. All the way around. Hopefully, somewhere in here we can find the video wire that we threw in there. Let's see if I can see it. I don't see it yet, but oh, there it is. I don't know if I can get in there. But came in from the tailgate, from the grommet through there, and now we've got the wires here. So now I'm gonna try and connect the rest of the inside of the door through there. And I guess it's something similar to this. The wires running inside the door and is covered up by the trim. And then there's a grommet that goes inside the car. Oh, that's right here. So we would come in here, go in through here, come in through here, from the door into the grommet, into here, inside the car, and then down. Alright, I guess since the power wire is on this side, I'm gonna go run the video and the power and ground wire up this side and tap into this tail light. Maybe I'll be using less wire that way, but then I'm still gonna go across over here to the driver's side and then to the front of the car, I think. You gotta hope that it's long enough to get all the way to the front. Excuse me. And I'm sure it is, because they wouldn't sell you a camera without enough wire for the video. Just have to untangle this mess. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I can run it on this side of the truck. Never mind, the grommet's over there. This is the stuff that you gotta kind of think about when you're doing this. But this is going to be the problem right here, because this is also supposed to tie into the brake light positive wire. So think about that. So this is the power and ground wire that actually makes the camera work, and you need to connect this to the tail lights, and then it plugs into the harness. And then for this yellow video wire, we've got the small red wire that I'm not sure why they didn't just attach it to the red wire on the camera harness, since it's supposed to attach to the same tail light power. And then once you put the car in reverse, the backup light gets the power, and then the power turns on the camera, and then also the power runs along this little red wire that goes with the video wire and sends a signal to the head unit that it needs to turn on the backup display. Okay, now we're going to run the wire here where the OEM wire goes through. And apparently that's easier said than done. I'm only just pushing it through a little bit of the plastic sheeting. So here we're plugging in the power wire that goes to one of the lights, and we're going to run it along here, and you see how short it is. If the lights were in the tailgate it might work, but I've got to I'm going to be soldering some wire onto the end of this so it can reach all the way over, go through the grommet, and I can connect the light over here. So that was unexpected. And we also have a problem with this little red pigtail here that comes off the video, because that is also supposed to connect to the power wire that goes to the backup light. And I'm not quite sure why they didn't just connect them together, you know, the red wires, because they're both going to go to the backup light. So I think that would have made it easier, but I have to solder wire onto the end of that too to get it over to where the other power wire ends. And here is the extended wires that I soldered on the video, the red pigtail and the power wires to the light. So I soldered the yellow wire onto the red pigtail just because I had that wire sitting there, and then I soldered some extra speaker wire that I had onto the power and ground wire for the camera. So I'm just using what I had. So here I got them plugged in, and I'm gonna run it over with the OEM harness and go through the grommet, and then I can go down to the light. Use some zip ties here. All right, now we're going to take off the top part of the grommet, the part that's attached to the tailgate, and then that pulled out pretty easily. Now we're trying to take out the bottom of it, and that is not pulling out very easily at all. Not sure why. Well, so take off this top piece here. That's the top trim piece. And what we're trying to do is see where that grommet goes in, and it looks like it's here. All right, now we're looking at inside the car. And this is the grommet. Looks like it's similar to the one from the tailgate. Let's see what's underneath here. Just pushing the sides in, and obviously I've never had this off before, so this is what's happening on this side. Trying to get that out of there. Definitely can't do this one-handed. So I'll put you back down over here. Okay, so now I got the tape off of this side of the grommet. You could see it was all wrapped around that part. Now we just got to get the wire through this small part, and then we'll be inside the car. Hopefully it gets easier after this. But let's see how hard it is to get the wire through there. I might have to use a fish tape. it routed through the grommet and inside the car. Now I'm gonna put all this back together and tie the wires up there and put the trim back on, and then we'll go from here and do the rest of the connections. And I went through all that work and I screwed it up, because you're supposed to go through here and then through here and then through here, and I did not do that. So I get to take it out. Alright, the camera died, of course, when I was getting it through here, but basically it's the same as before. I tied the end of the video cable to a fish tape. Put the fish tape through here, taped this here and pulled it through here, which was not easy. So now I'm going to unravel this. I'm going to unravel this part. Okay, now I'm unraveling this electrical tape from the fish tape and the video wire and the extended power and ground wire that I soldered to their harness. And then I need to make sure that the wires go into the rear area of the Explorer from the grommet, and then pull it through the whole grommet so that it all ends up inside the car. And you gotta be a little bit careful, because even though it looks like it's a big grommet, it's pretty tight in there because there's wires in there already. So if you pull too hard, you might snap your video cable, and then that would be even more work. So I'm trying to not pull too hard and trying to hold the grommet so that there's a clear path for the wire to go through. But like I said, it's still pretty tight. And once we've got it all in on the one side of the grommet, then we make sure that all the wire is pulled through into the inside of the car. Now I can put the top of the grommet in. that's it for part 2. We were able to go from the plugs on the camera inside the tailgate, around the tailgate, and in through the grommet, and then inside the body of the car. So in part 3, we're going to go from there, from the grommet inside the car, attach the wiring to the rear light, and then proceed to move to the front of the car.